So listen, I seen this earlier this week. I had my thoughts. I kept them to myself. I kept it moving. I didn't even put it in the comments. But in case you're just listening and not looking, FBG Duck and Lil Durk's fathers, both of their fathers, have come together to push peace in Chicago. They have come together. They have united their forces. They have brought their powers with their powers combined. They will be pushing peace. Now, in case you're not aware, which you should be, FBG Duck is from 63rd, right? All his whole clique, the FBG, like all them dudes, like Lil J and stuff like that, they from 63rd. FBG Butter, all them, 63rd. When it come to King Von, the reason we that stick with everybody is because, from King Von says something like we from 64th, we not from 63rd. So Lil Durk, King Von, them, they from 64th. So when it come down to that, like there's an epic beef between two rappers sets, and they was only staying about a block away from each other type shit. Like a very deadly beef that, from what I've heard, resulted in something like 25 deaths, which is a fucking lot, especially for a rap-related beef. And I know motherfucker, oh, no, it's not rap because, they GDBDs. Man, listen. We talking about strictly between FBG, anything associated with the rappers on that side, and then you got the whole O Block, 64th, fucking 600, 300, like all that shit over there. That's all we talking about. But we not here to unpack the beef today. So just understand that two beefing rappers, FBG Duck is passed, Lil Durk is in jail. Their fathers have finally linked up, and now they're going to push peace in Chicago. That's what the city has been waiting for. So boom, I just kept my thoughts to myself. I'm like, it is what it is, man. You see it, let's keep it moving. But today, I seen something that made me make this video. I had to get this out the way first, but let's go to that. FBG Duck's mom wrote all this stuff out in toilet paper. Now, typically people do this with money, and she put up, two of her passed away children, behind her on, the backdrops and stuff like that. But she wrote, "Stop dissing the dead." We're going to read the caption. She says, "The fact you are still being mentioned by people who never met you, that speaks volumes and is proof that they don't mention you, they won't get noticed. That if they won't mention you, they won't get noticed." That's a hell of an impact. You got to excuse me in my reading because I got to throw words in there that's not there because, you know. Long live both of my kings. So that is what she wrote. Now, you see these fathers, I don't know them. The only one that I really be seeing is Lil Durk's father. And guess what? We just started really seeing him for real. But if you have been looking at this shit, FBG Duck mom didn't pop out after the death. She had been somebody who had been getting on live, had been saying stuff. And I'm pretty sure to some extent she has antagonized this beef. Just at least a little bit. I'm not about to go back and do no checking or nothing like that. But she was active and she was supportive of her son. Even after his death, she was still supporting him, going against Charleston White, stuff like that. The reason I was triggered to do this is because the audacity to say stop dissing the dead when your son made a song called Dead Bitches. Your son was dissing the dead, man. Your son had had enough, and your son made a song called Dead Bitches. And even then, people in the set was still dissing dead people before that. People associated with FBG was still dissing dead people before that. And that's bad. So my question is, where was this energy when your son was alive? Why didn't you tell him to shut it down? Why didn't you tell him to stop? Because I never heard that she said stop or nothing like that. I never heard that. Never seen him say it. Never seen nobody say it. Never heard her say, man, take that down, take that video down. Never heard none of that. If you've been peeping how she move, I look at her more as an enabler. An enabler. I mean, there's a lot to her, as far as I can't remember what it is. I know you got two boys in the background that she raised. Both, I'm pretty sure, died to gun violence. It may even be another one, I'm not sure, but it's like, just you, if you know what she got going on, if you know the details, then it's like it's bad when it comes to what her sons was into and how they turned out and things like that. And if we go over to the other side, we might not know these guys, but let's think about this, man. We ain't never seen FBG Duck dad till today. Now listen, if you're from Chicago, I get it. I get it, man. You didn't seen him when you was getting a fucking Italian beef or something like that, or when you was getting a deep dish pizza, you seen him or some shit like that. If you're from Chicago, I get it. Everybody not from Chicago, these is national. Durk is a superstar. Durk is a national superstar. FBG Duck was a national star. I don't care where he was getting booked or anything like that. If he was getting booked, I just know that people in other countries knew who FBG Duck was. He's a pioneer of the drill shit. Like, once academic shines a light on that other side, people outside of Chicago start fucking with their wave and fucking with their music. So, again, this is the first time a lot of us have seen FBG Duck's dad. So I don't know if he was in some other vlogs or something, but he is nowhere near as visible as FBG Duck's mom. And my question is, when it comes to the two people on the right, where the fuck was y'all when these like JoJo disses and shit was getting made? Like, where was y'all when a lot of these disses, like, because these disses was getting made for like 4 or 5, in Durk case, like damn near a decade, fam. Like, you made it out and you still doing all this dissing. You made it out and you still do, like, you are a superstar now. You on Drake shows and shit like that, and you still doing this dissing. You still doing this dissing. So where the fuck was they at while this shit was going on? Like, what was they influence? Was they telling these cats to stop? Like, what? Why wasn't you pushing peace when he was out? Why it take, fucking the nigga with the whoops, J Main, to start doing this pushing peace shit and go stand in O Block as a op with the other dude? Why do it take him doing that for y'all is like grown men in their 50s, possibly 60s, to go and push peace now? Like, what? Why do it take all that? And let's scale it back to something that I said. Why do y'all wait until after y'all kids are dead or in jail to get on some positivity flow? Why do y'all wait till y'all kids is dead or in jail to get on some, we about to do something peaceful for the community, we gonna tell these kids stop the violence? Why didn't you do your best to keep your kids from being a part of the violence? Why didn't y'all do your best to stop that? Because I could tell just from FBG Duck's mom, like, there was no effort. There was no effort. Like, you can't tell me the effort was there. And I'm going to say this on some real shit. Like, she's quite a bit like NBA Youngboy's mom, to where you could tell just enables the shit. Just enables the shit. And the intention is not to disrespect anybody on this screen. That is not the intention, but it's really just like, if you really look at this from a real lens, like, just forget, like, we can't even forget the rap shit, because what I'm trying to say is, if you look at regular people in the hood and stuff like that, this is what be going on. It be absent dads Niggas not doing their job as far as being in the kids' life, being a positive influence, steering them the right way, which I don't know. I really don't know how these two guys play into their kids' lives. I don't. I don't know the specifics. But I'm talking general now outside of them. Dads that is not doing their job as far as keeping their kids out the streets, but even then, some push their kids towards the streets because the streets is all the dads know in some situations. Some dads just don't be present at all. Like the kids never talk to them. So you got those situations. But then on top of that, as far as the mom is typically there. Now, I know it's rougher on the moms, especially if the father is not there, but at least make it look like the effort is there to keep him out of this shit. Like, just at least when we look, just, oh man, I was trying to keep him, I put him in basketball, like something. Like, even when she be talking, like to this day, it just seemed like she enabled a lot of shit. Like she was just really unstable. But let me give you an example of somebody who really, they might have failed to a certain extent, being that their son ended up allegedly selling crack and stuff like that and being like a big drug dealer, allegedly. But, she at least had the power and influence to stop some shit. He still respected his mom to this extent, and she got him to stop from doing something. When Jay-Z got hit with ether, Nas hit him with ether. He did super ugly and basically said, I left the condoms on a baby stroller, like he hit Nas' baby mom. So he said all types of shit, right? His mother, Jay-Z is in his fucking 30s. His mother blew down on him. She blew down on him. Like, how dare you do that? That is way too far. Talking about killing him and clapping him and all that, that's cool. But that's fiction. You can't come in talking about smashing his baby mom and leaving a condom on a stroller. That is too disrespectful for even me to hear. So, go apologize. What did Jay-Z do out of respect for his mom? He pulled the record and apologized. He pulled the record and apologized. That's what he did, and that's who his mom is. She wanted him to, be more respectful when it comes to certain things. Now, we could debate about, where rap battles go and if he should have apologized. We could have debated all that all day. But at the end of the day, there is a respect that he has for his mom, and his mom wanted to stop some bullshit. You don't hear about that with any of these people on the screen. You never heard of it. You never heard of it. Why, when Durk is in jail, you want to start pushing peace? You could have been pushing peace 5 years ago. You could have been pushing peace 7 years ago. You could have been doing this stop the violence, toilet paper, stop the dissing and shit. You could have did that when your son was alive. But they waited until their sons was dead or in jail to get on this shit. And it's like, it's too late, because this is the thing, man. When you look at stop the violence rallies and parades, and that shit don't be doing nothing, man. It's a really deep problem. It's a really deep problem in the black community. And where things start, and this is me being honest, it starts in two places. They say it takes a village to raise a child. It starts in the home. That is the first place that it starts. But then you have the village, which is the environment that the kids grow up in. Kanye grew up in the south side of Chicago and didn't become a vice lord or nothing like that. It's a bunch of people on the south side of Chicago that is not gangbangers at all. A bunch of males. We could ask a bunch of whys and come up with a bunch of, different reasons why. But when it comes down to it, the home. Things have to be right in the home. You have to be raising your kid the right way. You have to instill the values in them. And you have to try your best to protect them from the fucked up parts of the village. The best thing, honestly, if I'm going to be honest with you, is to get out of that village. Get out of that village. But, again, it starts at home. Because you can't control what your kid is influenced by once they get outside of your home. You can't control that. And when it comes to the streets and stuff like that, there are plenty of people who come from great households, good households, and still get in the streets. But again, if what's going on in the home is condoning the fuckery, then the kids don't stand a chance. The kids don't stand a chance. So going back to all of this shit that I'm saying about the people on the screen, I don't know about those two guys on the right. But when it comes to the person on the left, I definitely know the effort was not there. Based on what I've seen and based on what she has said post-death, it's just not there. It's just not there. So if you could not succeed, and I hate to say this, I really hate to say this, but if you could not succeed where the success needs to happen in your home, this shit for the community is just really just optics. It's not going to work because it hasn't worked for the whole time. It hasn't worked for the whole time. The Stop the Violence parades and rallies have not stopped fucking shit from getting shot up. It has not decreased the crime rate. It hasn't done anything from city to city, from state to state. And that is because when it comes down to what causes these issues, it's deeper than just the parenting, and it's deeper than just the environment. There are other forces that help perpetuate this shit and keep this shit going that's outside of the people. And that's a fact that we're not going to unpack today. So it's just bigger than just the people you see on the screen. It's bigger than just the people in these houses. I'll just throw you out one nugget. Economics play a big part. Economics play a big part. When people are systemically thrust into poverty and kept in poverty, and then, you give them a way out, and the way out is drugs. And drugs is it's easier to get to, and it's more lucrative than, going to college, accumulating debt. And even the way the climate shit is in right now, you could get a degree, accumulate a bunch of debt, and that degree don't do shit for you in the field that you're in. So when you're working against that type of shit, and this culture has already been cultivated that is so crazy and destructive, like, it's really a hard fight to fight. But at least make it look like you made some effort, man. At least make it look like you made some effort. Because when it comes to this community shit, it has to start in the household. That is where the community gets saved. It gets saved in the house first. It gets saved in the houses first. And when you go to the streets, that's a whole different thing. To be honest, some niggas can't be saved. And I'm not even trying to rant too long, but that is just something that was on my mind. Let me know y'all thoughts. I'm gone.